it turns on. What it also does is shocks you. uh, that's not great. So it could be up in here. It could be the motor. It's here. It could be the motor is hooked up wrong internally. Oh, it's just plugged in still. It's still shocking you. So it probably is hooked up wrong internally. But the other problem is over here actually. I should have known better, being an electrical engineer. Two-prong sockets, not your friend. So I'm going to need to run some new conduit, I think. This thing's still energized. It's not like super energized, but in fact, I'll take a reading here in a second. But yeah, it's not great. So let's take a reading real quick. Okay, so hi. This is energized, so it's still plugged in. Oh god, this thing's even catching some, I think. Anyways, this is the cold water inlet here, so this actually goes out to the street. So what I'm going to do is actually measure against that, because that should be really the system reference house ground. You know, there's that ground tie over by the inlet over there. So if I ground to this, I'm going to zoom in on the meter too. This is acceptable for measuring actual power. Then I'm going to measure against the, I don't know if you can see it here. So it's actually going to, sorry, it's actually going to be on the spindle here of the motor. Let's see what that is. Okay, so I'm grounded to this is the pipe, this is the spindle. So we've got a solid 80 volts of AC. Now nothing's on right now, so I don't think it's actually. It could be hooked up wrong. It could have been inductive from having the motor on, but yeah. If I let's do it one more time. So there's the ground. There's the spindle, and so that's why it's tickling. It's not actually 120. That's 80. So if I plug this in, let's see. Zoom back out. I'll have to undo the. Let's see. It's gonna go dark here for a second. There's this thing. Okay, so that power's unplugged. Alright, now there's a grounded socket across the room, right near the panel. Plug into that. Turn it back on. Computer starts back up, for whatever reason that happens. Alright, let's measure this again. There you are. Alright, so we got that still. And let's do the same measurement. So we got the pipe, and we got the motor, and we've got 0 volts. So it is possible that this thing's wired up with internal wiring problems. You know, it could be trying to return using the neutral, or sorry, the ground. Yeah, neutral. Sorry, they're trying to use neutral as ground, the other way around. But something's going on here, so we'll try and figure that out. One last thing to try here. Turn this back on. All right, lights back on now. My meter back on. I had a sneaking suspicion. Let's see if it's correct. Actually, I tested before I actually hooked this thing up. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So I've got it plugged in with the same kind of extender on there. I have 2 extension cords plugged in with a 3 to 2 prong conversion at the end. I know it's not the best idea right now, especially, and I don't plan to long term, but let's do this measurement real quick. See if you can see that. Alright, so we got the pipe, and we got the spindle, and, nope, never mind. We're down to, okay, we're down to 40 volts. Okay, so still not a great idea, but a little bit better. I had perhaps wrongly assumed that actually maybe on that socket that the ground and neutral were hooked up backwards. Apparently, well, like I said, 40 volts is not enough to really notice. Yeah, no tingle at 40 volts, only at 80 volts. So that's the reason why. I'm not gonna touch that part when it's running, but yeah, something's still messed up here. But since the grounding works, obviously neutral's hooked up wonky somewhere, and I should have a ground anyway, so I'm gonna have to run some conduit. But yeah, be sure to be cognizant of that kind of thing, because I know I wasn't. Well, I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I've looked at this for a while now. I mean, it did have the 80 volts on it, but it's just not worth it. I'm gonna just install some. I'm gonna run some Romex and some conduit and everything, and I'll just install a new outlet over here. Nice thing is that this all was on a. I mean, aside from being on the 2-prong, it was pretty inconvenient. So I'll just install another outlet here. At first, I was wondering if that actually was a wired outlet, but that actually is running out to the street. That's actually my front light. That's out in front of my house. So I'm gonna be running some of this stuff. I'm not gonna show it, but so I'll install a new outlet, and then hopefully we'll be, have lighting all set up and nice outlet for all the things I want to be doing. Well, after a bit of trial and error and a bunch of trips to the hardware store, finally got this installed. Got a 3-prong going and wired it over to the sub panel across the room. Ran some conduit up and above. Ended up doing it so that I could turn the lights on and off here. You hear the buzz going on and off too. And then I'll always have the computer and the mill plugged in, and the controller always plugged in. I don't know any situations where I wouldn't want the lights on, but you never know. So yeah, I'm a little tired from all this. It's kind of a journey, but I did test this, and the mill now has 0 volts on it, just like when I plugged it into a 3-prong outlet the first time. So yeah, this problem solved, and now it's on to the real stuff. That's the frustrating thing, right? I mean, like, I got all the way through, or I got this all set up and ready to go, and then I started getting popped by it, and I still don't really know the reason, but at the same time I don't really care, because it's just like, well, just go ahead and plug it. You should be running on a 3-prong anyways. You should really ground your equipment, and the fact that I live in an old house is not any kind of excuse. So it is a good thing that I did this. It's just, it was a hassle taking a break and then going to do it and everything. So next up though, I actually have to drill the mill into the bench. I want to actually secure it in there with some bolts and level everything, and then probably try a test cut by itself without the CNC on there, and then hook it all up, and away we go. See you next time.